Reincarnating back into high school, the first thing our MC Ji Pingan does is abandon his billionaire biological family. Giving up his title as the true young master, he goes straight back to his dirt-poor adoptive family. But now, the four sisters who claimed they would only ever love the fake brother? They are completely panicking, all because the fake brother Ji Boda, whom their mother treated like royalty, was exposed right after Ji Pingan left. Turns out he is actually the biological father's illegitimate son with his secret first love. This massive secret was hidden from the family for 20 years. In his past life, after returning to this rich family, he was immediately kidnapped in a setup by the fake brother and their trash dad. But get this, the family only cared about comforting that slightly startled fake brother, leaving the true heir to bleed out and die alone at the scene. Honestly, it is so heartbreaking. Reborn into a second life, Ji Pingan is officially done with them. No more expectations for this toxic family. Right in front of his biological father, he beats the absolute living daylights out of the fake brother, then immediately heads back to his loving adoptive parents. But as soon as he arrives back at the rich family's villa, before even stepping inside, the eldest sister, Ji Junhong, starts screaming at him, asking Ji Pingan if he actually knows how to return. She asks if he knows what time it is, while the third sister, Ji Zhidie, glares with pure disgust. She complains that Boda came back ages ago, yet Ji Pingan did not even bother calling them, forcing the whole family to wait for him. Talk about entitlement. Hearing this, he just looks up. Standing right there are his three sisters, Ji Pingan, Ji Junhong, and Ji Zhidie. They are all standing at the entrance, staring him down, but right behind him is the fake brother, Ji Boda, standing half a head taller with a completely cold and calm gaze. Our main character stands his ground, staring back at them with icy eyes, declaring that he never asked them to wait and his phone died hours ago. There was no way to call. Is it really necessary to be this aggressive? The moment he says this, shocked expressions spread across all four of their faces, and then the furious Ji Zhidie screeches out, "How dare he speak like that? Speak to us like that?" But Ji Pingan just steps closer, asking with a cold tone, "We are all our parents' kids. Why can't I talk like this? Is your status somehow more noble, or do you honestly think I am below you?" He glances over at the fake brother, Ji Boda, whose face briefly flashes with a hint of genuine surprise. But he quickly masks it, acting as if none of this concerns him. But Ji Pingan knows this guy is a complete snake who is just acting. In his past life, he literally died because of this fake brother's schemes. While Ji Pingan was bleeding out during the kidnapping, the fake brother actually faked fainting. And that brain-dead family rushed to comfort him, leaving the real son to completely bleed dry. The more he remembers that past life, the more he just wants to throw hands. He used to be quiet and introverted, but he is done holding back his rage. Stepping up the stairs, he stands right in front of Ji Boda's face, coldly asking, "Aren't we eating? If you're not hungry, stop bringing it up. If you don't like me, just say it to my face. Stop being so passive-aggressive." You might not find it disgusting, but I am sick of it. Hearing this, Ji Junhong fumes, screaming that he is outrageous and that they are his older sisters just offering feedback. But Ji Zhidie is absolutely livid. She storms forward right up to his face, pointing right at his nose, yelling that she does not like him, so what of it? Even if they share the same mother, she just does not like him and never will. So the guy mockingly asks what Ji Pingan could possibly do. Ji Pingan slides his strap down. He smiles, asking what he'd ever do to his biological sisters. But there is one thing he can do. He swings his leg and kicks Ji Boda straight in the crotch. No scream, just instant crushing shock. Ji Boda can only let out a pathetic, squeaking gasp from his throat. He collapses instantly, clutching himself in absolute agony and rolling on the floor. Honestly, the sisters start absolutely screaming. They screech at Ji Pingan, calling him insane and asking why he hit him. The sister screams for her parents, crying that Ji Boda got beaten up. She begs them to come out. Even Ji Zhidie, who loves him the most, cannot bring herself to check his injuries. The hit is just way too awkward. But Ji Pingan feels refreshed. He slams his heavy backpack right onto Ji Boda's head. Inside is a massive 8-centimeter thick English dictionary. It is basically as heavy as a solid brick. He wallops his face 3 times. Ji Boda finally screeches as Ji Pingan rushes to push Ji Pingan back. But Ji Pingan kicks her right in the face. He yells that this is payback for slandering him and trying to ruin his life. His own foot stings, making him lose his balance. Ji Jinglei and Ji Qingyan push him to the floor as Ji Boda totally blacks out. Just then, the parents rush outside. They bring several servants as Zhao Wei screams in horror. She instantly throws herself onto Ji Boda, crying. The father, Ji Junhong, stares in total shock at his unconscious golden boy. His eyes turn completely bloodshot. He roars, calling Ji Pingan a bastard, and swings a wild slap. Our guy just dodges, pointing at Ji Boda. He calmly tells his dad to go check on his precious son. Zhao Wei screams, asking what happened. She begs him to wake up as Ji Junhong fumes. He glares at them, then barks at his daughters to call an ambulance right now. Ji Qingyan and Ji Jinglei scramble inside. The father turns back, roaring if Ji Pingan wants to kill him. He demands to know why he did it, making Zhao Wei freeze. Sobbing, she glares at Ji Pingan. Honestly, the freezing cold expression on her face is heartbreaking. She looks at her own son with disgust and fear, like a total stranger. Seeing that look, Ji Pingan feels absolutely zero regret for his actions. He simply steps back, declaring that the trash deserved it. Ji Boda kept going, asking how an adopted bastard dared to give the actual biological son attitude. Who did that guy think he was anyway? Ji Boda was the real heir. Whether it was pedigree or academic grades, that fake was inferior in every single way. Why should he walk on eggshells around him, effortlessly twisting the narrative to blame the fake? He did not back down for a second, his words sharp and unyielding. Showing off in front of the whole school, claiming that he was the true heir. Is not that just a direct slap to the family face, Ji Boda argued, since he never mentioned family affairs? He had never leaked his identity as the real son, but if he had not been held up in class, and if he was not worried that throwing hands would blow his cover, he would have handled that guy at school long ago instead of waiting until now. If everyone at school ended up believing that fake was the true heir, what would happen to his own future, especially since his parents always told him to yield? He had played nice for 4 years, just like they asked, but even when he fell and could not walk, that brat still had the nerve to look down on him, and he was officially done taking it. His words hit a nerve, and Ji Junhong roared in pure rage for him to shut up. The shout was so deafening that Ji Zhidie, standing right next to them, started shaking like a leaf. "Get out!" Ji Junhong barked to the servants hovering by the doorway. Then he glared viciously at Ji Boda, warning him to pray his brother was okay. Otherwise, he would kick him out of the family and send him back to his adoptive parents. To go back to living like trash? But Ji Boda scoffed, reminding him who the real heir was. That kid was just a stray. How could he possibly be more important? Honestly, watching Ji Boda completely dismantle his father's logic is so satisfying, and the old man is furious. Ji Junhong snapped back that since he raised the boy, he had been a son for 18 years. To him, there was absolutely no difference between an adopted child and a biological one. He asked Ji Boda to speak up, demanding to know what he was complaining about. Had he not treated both of them completely equally in terms of money and comfort? Hearing that, Ji Boda just laughed, mockingly agreeing that they were treated the same. They went to the same school and neither was given a personal driver. But Ji Boda knew that before his return, the fake son had his own private chauffeur, plus 30,000 yuan a week in allowance and unlimited access to their mother's card. The fake had bragged about it himself, which the father probably kept a blind eye to. Ji Junhong tried to argue, claiming that did not make things unequal between them. Ji Boda raised a hand to cut him off, coldly reminding him who possessed the family bloodline. Talk about a savage line. Treating the real heir and the fake equally is the ultimate insult. Returning home meant dealing with the entire household, not just the patriarch. He had to face his mother and sisters, who all favored the fake. The father's idea of fairness was a joke when everyone else treated him like an outsider. Sure, the substitute played his part while the real son was gone, but that did not mean he would tolerate the imposter staying in his house any longer. Today was all about establishing boundaries and making him realize his place. They were not on the same level because Ji Boda was the legitimate heir. The fake was not even an illegitimate child, just a random stray who needed to leave. These truth bombs kept hitting Ji Junhong right where it hurt. Meanwhile, the illegitimate daughter, who was only a teenager, watched the chaos unfold. She had been raised to be extremely manipulative, playing the perfect obedient child to gain favor. Around Ji Junhong, he showed self-restraint and looked like a true successor.
With his sisters, he acted like a sweet, energetic younger brother who loved to cling.
Remember those kidnappers from back then? They threatened Ji Jia and Zhao Wei with a video of Ping An's right thumb getting chopped off. Just to protect their reputation, Ji Jia delivered 2 million yuan in ransom money. But the criminals demanded more on the spot, and Ping An got stabbed in the leg. The blade sliced right through his artery, causing uncontrollable bleeding. But even then, Ji Jia only begged the kidnappers to spare Ji Boda, completely ignoring Ping An's life. Floating in the air as a spirit, Ping An watched the aftermath of that trauma. An unconscious Ji Boda was rushed straight into the hospital intensive care unit. Meanwhile, Ping An's body was sent to the cold morgue, ignored until cremation was demanded. Only then did the family remember him, while his ghost wandered their estate for a year. That's actually crazy. The entire kidnapping was set up by Ji Boda. Ping An literally watched him call the fugitive kidnapper to pay off the final balance. Just to secure the family inheritance, Ji Boda had plotted to get rid of him. He eliminated his only real competitor, and Ping An's spirit followed him for 10 years. But then, a simple fall at school this afternoon unlocked his memories. Our boy just regressed. He clearly remembers how Ji Boda took over the entire family in his past life. His biological mother, Qin Bailian, moved in, while Zhao Wei and the 4 sisters suffered tragic fates. Even the scumbag father, Ji Junpeng, used simple business deals for personal gain. He bought his way out of trouble with Zhao Wei's family, and once she died, he immediately married Qin Bailian, making Ji Boda the official undisputed successor. That was how he claimed the inheritance, but living through 2 lifetimes now? Ping An is completely numb to this toxic family. Just then, Ji Qingyan and Ji Jinglei walk out. They try to help the unconscious Ji Boda stand up, and Ji Zhidie quickly rushes over to assist. Ji Qingyan glares at him with a cold face, saying Ping An has completely disappointed them.
Ji Zhidie chimes in with her toxic words, calling him a selfish, ungrateful wolf. She says she is glad she never saw him as family, or she would have been disgusted to death. Crying her eyes out, Zhao Wei watches her 3 daughters struggle to lift up the fallen Ji Boda, before turning to Ping An to sob about how incredibly heartless he is. Hearing this, Ping An feels pure rage. Honestly, if he had not regressed and awakened, he probably would have kept enduring this trash treatment until Ji Boda murdered him again. Looking around at Ji Junhong and the rest of his incredibly cold family members, staring back with pure contempt and disgust, he asks them a chilling question. You all think Ji Boda is my brother, but do you honestly believe he belongs here? I am your actual biological son, right? We did a DNA test 4 years ago. But what about him? He was adopted, yet you keep calling him your son and brother. What about me? In 4 years, I have never once heard any of you call me brother. Nor have I ever heard anyone call me a son. His sharp, rapid questions leave the entire room completely stunned. None of them had ever heard him yell like this. They had never seen him confront Ji Boda, let alone beat the guy into the ground. Only when the ambulance sirens blare outside does Zhao Wei snap out of it and call the servants. With red and blue lights flashing, 2 paramedics run in, carrying a stretcher. They quickly load Ji Boda up and head back to the vehicle, with Zhao Wei following right behind. She does not even spare Ping An a single glance, and Ji Zhidie follows close behind. I will go too. Ji Qingyan rushes over to hold Zhao Wei back. She tells her mother not to go, saying she and 3rd sister can handle it. They persuade their mother to go rest, while Zhao Wei silently sobs into her hands. He gives our boy one last vicious glare on his way out before the ambulance sirens fade. Soon, only the 4 of them are left standing at the door. Our main character watches closely. He sees Ji Junhong's dark, hostile eyes and his twisted, furious face. Our guy suddenly smirks and asks the dad if he is actually the biological son. Silence drops. Ji Junhong, Zhao Wei, and Ji Jinglei do not say a single word.
They just glare with pure hatred as he points right toward the gate. "Go on, say it," he demands. "Is Boda actually your biological son or what?" Ji Junhong's face turns completely pale, his eyes twitching with pure rage.
Zhao Wei snaps, screaming if being blood-related even matters that much.
"Boda was with us for 18 years. She screams that he does not care about this bond. But they actually do. Meanwhile, our guy catches a flash of sheer panic in his dad's eyes. He locks eyes with him and presses on, asking his dad directly, "Well, does biology not matter?" Ji Junhong just keeps glaring with a dark, heavy silence. Honestly, the total lack of respect our main character is showing today is driving the dad crazy. It makes him extremely uncomfortable, and bringing up the biological stuff just humiliates him. At this point, the dad feels he absolutely has to shut down his son.
He knows too much. Ji Junhong growls that bringing him back was a mistake. Ever since his arrival, he has done nothing but cause trouble.
How could he brutally beat his own brother? The family has no place for him anymore. He tells him to get out and go back to his foster parents. "When we brought you back, your registration was never officially transferred. You only carry the Ji name. Yes, our blood flows in your veins. But you are no family of mine. You do not deserve it." Zhao Wei hesitates. But Ji Junlei pulls her mother's arm, forcing her to stay quiet.
Our main character's eyes stay glued to Ji Junhong, reading every single twitch on his face.
Every instinct tells him his biological father is not bluffing. He genuinely wants his own son gone. And the reason? He probably wants to clear the path for Ji Boda to inherit everything. Talk about a massive plot twist! Our guy smiles and says, "Fine, Mr. Ji.
Are you absolutely sure you want to cut ties? I am officially no longer a yikes."
Ji Junhong stays silent with a pale face. Seeing this, our guy just grins.
At least Boda got completely thrashed. 4 years of taking their garbage, and our boy finally got his sweet revenge.
He grabs his backpack and walks out.
From this second on, they are complete strangers. They watch from the porch as he crosses the yard and opens the gate.
Suddenly, Zhao Wei breaks down completely, crying out his name, Pingan.
"Please do not leave," she begs him.
He turns to look at her, seeing her makeup ruined by tears. His heart aches, but after all their toxicity, absolutely no shot.
With a cold stare, he tells Ji Junhong they are dead to each other once he leaves. Never coming back. Our MC warns them to never come looking for him again, since finding him was a mistake anyway. They should act like they never found him, or that he died 18 years ago. He tells the man to pretend he was never born, then turns directly to his biological mother, Zhao Wei. He drops some cold advice, reminding her that the guy he beat up is her precious adopted son. But he is only an adopted son. Our MC lets go, letting that heavy truth sink in before walking away. He casually tosses the keys onto the roadside. Honestly, leaving your biological parents is usually a bad thing. But for him, it is definitely a win. I mean, what kind of biological mother values an adopted son more?
Still, since Zhao Wei is the woman who actually gave birth to him, he decided to give her a tip.
He has already given her a final warning. Whether she actually gets it is no longer his problem. From this moment on, our boy is finally free to rule his own life. It is a humid summer night with the heavy, muggy air dampening the salty sea breeze. Walking alone down the street with his backpack, Pingan feels a sudden rush of excitement. His heart is racing because he has got his entire net worth safely secured. Every single dollar of his New Year cash, red envelopes, and birthday gifts is on his bank card. Plus another 10,000 in his WeChat wallet, totaling almost 200,000 yuan. For a teenager, that is a massive stack, and he is definitely not stupid enough to give it back.
Sure, compared to Ji Boda, he looks broke since that guy gets tens of thousands in monthly allowance.
That spoiled adopted kid probably has a supplementary card, but our MC is not stressing about money. Here is the twist. During his years as a ghost following Ji Boda, he learned all their secrets. He knows major financial trends and the deepest secrets of the wealthy Southern families. That insider info is a literal cheat code, and he is about to put it to perfect use. He hops into a taxi and heads straight to the adoptive home where he grew up for 14 years. Qingye neighborhood is just a small, rundown complex, but it has a real sense of community.
Most of the neighbors have lived here for decades, and everyone closely watches out for each other.
But the worst part? No elevators! His adoptive parents, Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing, run a small shop near the entrance. It is a cozy Jiangnan snack joint, which is already closed up for the night.
But he knows they are probably still awake as he navigates the winding alleyways.
He approaches building Unit 3 and quickly climbs up to the second floor.
Standing outside door 201, he knocks, and the door swings open almost instantly.
A delighted voice calls out, asking him why he's visiting so suddenly. She yells to their parents that her brother is home, lunging forward as Ping An catches her. He laughs, noticing how tall Wei Wei has gotten, before calling out to his parents that he is back. This lively girl, Chen Shuhui, is his adoptive parents' biological daughter. They adopted him first, having her 3 years later.
She is already over 1.6 meters tall, noticeably taller than last time.
She is growing into a beautiful young lady, proudly bragging that she is 16 now.
Standing at 1.66 meters, she insists she is still growing.
Shuhi drags him inside. A middle-aged couple steps out, their faces immediately lighting up with pure joy. They warmly welcome Ping An back, urging him to quickly come inside and sit down. He smiles, calling them mom and dad, as Liu Qing excitedly rubs her hands.
She asks if he has eaten yet, offering to whip up a hot bowl of noodles.
But then she hesitates, looking at him with a sudden touch of awkwardness. Our MC does not hesitate for a second, firmly telling her that she is his real mother. Liu Qing mutters about not having dinner yet and quickly heads to the kitchen. She quietly wipes her tears where no one can see, while Chen Xiaohua walks over to look at him. He just nods with a warm, satisfied smile. Staring at his adoptive dad and the little girl next to him, Ping An's chaotic mind finally calms down. This humble house is where he grew up, his home for over 10 years. He used to be Chen Ping An, but they forced him to change his name to Ji Pingan 4 years ago. The Ji family's villa only gave him a last name and cold treatment. Meanwhile, this rundown house was the only place that ever gave him a real family feeling. Shaking off his thoughts, he sets down his backpack and looks around. Absolutely nothing has changed here in 4 years. It is exactly how he left it.
Xiaohua asks why he's back so suddenly and if those rich people mistreated him again.
Xiaohua sets down a warm cup of tea. Ping An just stays silent. He has no idea how to explain this mess. Xiaohua just pats his shoulder. Xiaohua looks into his eyes and tells him it is fine, then reminds him of the day he left. He reminds Ping An that even though they do not have the Ji family's crazy wealth, this home's door is always open for him, no matter when he decides to return. Hearing those words, Ping An feels a sudden, overwhelming wave of warmth wash over his heart. He smiles and tells his dad he is fine, but explains that he is a high school senior now. With the college entrance exams coming up, he heard his household registry is still at this address. Xiaohua nods and confirms that yes, his registry is still right here.
He mentions that he actually wanted to transfer it over to the Ji family back then.
But his biological father refused, claiming they should just wait a few years. Xiaohua looks at him with suspicion, wondering if those snobs are treating him like garbage. Ping An just shakes his head, calmly telling his dad that it is all in the past now.
He adds that he is completely done with them, which instantly makes Xiaohua's face turn dead serious.
He asks if that adopted kid is the one bullying him.
Back then, Xiaohua did some digging and found out the Ji family had an adopted son his age.
That kid also had 4 older sisters, and the whole family was ridiculously arrogant. The look of absolute disgust on their faces when they saw this house was unforgettable. It still makes him furious, but Ping An shakes his head, saying they should just forget the past. He is back now, and he is still their proud son. He is still Hui Hui's big brother, and that will never change no matter what. Hearing those words, Xiaohua's tense face finally relaxes a bit. Since the kid does not want to fight, Xiaohua decides to let it drop for now. But honestly, if his son wanted payback, Xiaohua would not hold back against those rich snobs.
Do they think he's just some helpless diner owner? He raised this boy like a treasure for 14 years.
They snatched him away only to treat him like trash. What gives them the right if Xiaohua had not left his own elite family in a fit of anger? That tiny Yuncheng branch of the Ji family would be absolutely nothing to him.
He finally calms down and smiles, but Ping An is low-key feeling pretty tense here.
Over the past 4 years, he barely visited, mainly because his biological father, Ji Junhong, banned him from contacting the Chen family entirely, otherwise he would have been here every week. Honestly, this poor kid spent 4 years constantly walking on eggshells around his trash biological family. He feels like a massive fool. Seeing his hesitation, Xiaohua suddenly slaps his shoulder. He chuckles and asks why the brat is acting so polite with him. His adoptive dad reminds him that this will always be his real home. His room has been kept completely untouched, waiting for his return. Ever since he left, his adoptive mother cried daily, but never moved anything. They do not care about the wealthy family. He can stay here forever. Just then, his adoptive mother, Lu Qing, brings out a hot bowl of noodles. She urges Ping An to eat up because it is already getting super late. Even though she does not know his struggles, he gratefully accepts the food. Honestly, her home cooking is what he missed most while she tidies his room. The next morning, he wakes up late. He grabs his school bag, rushes into the living room, and gulps his milk. Then, he snatches a plastic bag, stuffs 2 fried dough sticks inside, and runs. Since he is running late, he will just eat on the way. But right as they step outside, a loud, annoying voice echoes from nearby, claiming they knew he ran here. He turns around to spot his sister's luxury Porsche. The car windows are rolled down, and his arrogant sister Zhidie sits inside. She wears a smug, I-told-you-so face with their mother Zhao Wei in the back. Seeing his wealthy biological mother teary-eyed in the back, Ping An tells Shu Hui to leave first. He tells her to go ahead. She quickly leaves as he walks up to the car. Stopping 2 meters away, he asks why they cannot just leave him alone. Zhidie instantly snaps at him, but before she can even finish her rant, Zhao Wei throws the door open and rushes out to grab his hand. He steps back, cold and distant. Otherwise, he has school, but she tearfully begs him for forgiveness. She pleads for him to come home, completely casting aside her high society pride. As an educated noblewoman, she knows deep down how badly she failed him. After all, losing a baby is the parent's fault, not the innocent child's. She tearfully promises to make things right and treat him like real family from now on. But he just scoffs, asking with a mocking smile if their precious Boda is all right. She cries that Boda is finally out of danger. She begs Ping An to come back, claiming his father was only yelling in anger. He just shakes his head, totally immune to her guilt tripping, and asks if she is done. Class is starting, and he has no time for this. At this point, his arrogant sister Zhidie slams her door open and storms out to point at him. She points right at his face, yelling at him for being so ungrateful. Bro, she really expects him to be grateful just because they do not want an apology? Ping An just stops and laughs, completely unfazed by their toxic entitlement. His biological mother quickly nods, desperate to convince him he is off the hook. She keeps crying that it was never his fault. While his sister scoffs, he calmly asks if they will accept his own terms. He demands to know if they are finally ready to kick Boda out. Zhao Wei freezes in shock, while Zhidie's face instantly twists with pure rage. She warns him to stop pushing his luck and just accept their offer. Like they came all this way, so how dare he still hate their darling Boda? Shouldn't they apologize to him? Zhao Wei steps forward, looking miserable as she calls out to Ping An. She begs him to come home with her, but Ping An just sighs and says he is never going back. He made it crystal clear yesterday. Going back means he deserves a terrible end. And even if he did not care about that, shouldn't they at least kick the fake son out of the house? But it is obvious they would rather keep the imposter. They chose Ji Boda over their own flesh and blood. That is their choice to make, just like Ping An made his own final decision last night. Since he refused to submit and agreed to leave the family for good, it is over. He tells them to stop ruining his life, but his brother Ji Zhidie just snaps in pure anger. Who does Ping An think he is, putting on this dramatic act for them? Ji Zhidie claims Ji Boda is his real brother and is not going anywhere, while Ping An is lucky to get one last chance. He sneers that this trashy neighborhood is for lowlifes, and he would never step foot here normally. Ji Zhidie asks if he actually thinks he is special, while Zhao Wei literally shakes as she begs Ping An. She cries that forcing Boda to leave is like ripping her heart out. Talk about a massive guilt trip. Ping An just looks down at his watch, forcing a cold smile, and addresses her formally as Mrs. Ji. He says he gets it. Ji Boda was his replacement for the 14 years he was missing. Add the 4 years since Ping An returned, and that makes 18 years total. 18 years of living together and watching him grow up. Their bond is incredibly deep, but she should have never forced Ping An and Boda to coexist. To live under the same roof when she could not even treat them with basic fairness. Everyone in that family was so worried the fake son would be hurt, but out of all of them, did anyone once care if Ping An could take the pain? Did any of them actually care? About how it felt to watch an outsider steal his parents and his entire life? They favored an outsider while treating their own biological son and real brother like garbage. They knew exactly what they did. Why should he stay in the Ji family and take this humiliation? He was far happier living with his adoptive father. With that, Ping An turns and walks away. He tells them he has school and has no time for their endless drama. Just like he said last night, he is no longer part of the Ji family. He will not look for them, and they need to stay out of his life. They are completely done. This time, Zhao Wei's tears actually start falling for real. Back then, she always looked down on Ping An, thinking he was vulgar and uneducated. But she never stopped to realize that his lack of guidance was entirely her own fault. She honestly believed his threat to cut ties was just him playing hard to get. After all, the Ji family is filthy rich. Who would actually walk away from that? She thought he would be obedient, like always, doing whatever they demanded just to please them. He used to try so hard just to get a tiny sliver of her approval. But now, something is different. Ping An walks away fast. Within minutes, he completely vanishes from their sight. He is literally done with them. Zhao Wei stares at his back, completely clueless. She just could not bear to lose Ji Boda. Why could Ping An not just understand her feelings? Her husband, Ji Junhong, always told her. Basically, they claimed being strict with Ping An was just to groom him properly. After all, he was slated to inherit the family empire, so they spent years pushing him. They kept their standards impossibly high and barely even showed him a warm smile. But the dad forgot that the way everyone treated the fake son, Ji Boda, was a completely different standard compared to how they treated our main character, Ping An. Even though the father was heartbroken now, he still refused to kick Ji Boda out. To Zhao Wei, Boda is the boy she raised from a tiny baby all the way to 18. Sure, Boda is a bit clingy, but in her eyes, that is just pure, beautiful mother-son bonding. Honestly, she sees nothing wrong with it, so why can't her real, biological son, Chen Ping An, just accept this? At this point, Ji Zhidie steps up, supporting a crying Zhao Wei and frowning. Mom, please stop crying and let's go home. Next month is Boda's 18th birthday. The birthday party and his coming-of-age ceremony are not even ready. Hearing this, Zhao Wei quietly gets in the car. The two of them drive off. Meanwhile, after lunch, our boy Ping An heads back to his classroom to read. Just before 1 p.m., a shadow suddenly looms over his desk to the sharp click of high heels. He looks up from behind his massive stack of books, only to find Ji Jinglei standing there with a calm expression. She coldly tells him to step outside. Honestly, she is impossible to read. This low-key makes him feel annoyed. Didn't they already say he is no longer part of the Ji family? Didn't they warn him never to bother them again? But looking around at his classmates, studying or sleeping, he decides it is not a good idea to cause a massive scene. So he just nods and quietly follows Ji Jinglei all the way down the building. Once outside, she tells him that she kept all his old belongings in her car. She asks if he wants them as they stop under a massive tree. She turns around to face him, and Ping An stops too, feeling incredibly confused about this whole situation. Did you really come all this way just for some old trash? Now his sister, Ji Miaoxuan, barely ever spoke to him, but at least she was never toxic like the others. The rest of the family treated him like complete garbage, but Ji Jinglei just stares at him silently. Ping An shakes his head, saying he is no longer a Ji, so he has no use for their stuff. Throw it away, he says. But she says it is in her car. If you want your things, follow me. But I actually came here to talk about another reason. She demands to know what he meant yesterday when he called Boda their mother's adopted son right before leaving. What is the truth behind that statement? Ping An just shakes his head again. He tells her there is no hidden meaning. He is literally just reminding them Boda is adopted. If that is all, I am heading back, and please do not ever contact me again. With that, Ping An turns on his heel. Ji Jinglei is left standing alone. She watches him walk away, but deep down, a massive seed of doubt is planted. Did he really mean nothing by it, or did his eyes low-key carry a hint of absolute mockery?
She heads to the school gate, grabs his suitcases from the car, and leaves them at the security booth.
She tells the guard to hand them to Chen Ping-an from class 3, and then she drives away, completely puzzled.
Once school lets out, the security guard stops Ping-an at the front gate, just as expected. Seeing his old suitcases sitting right there, our boy gets a massive, painful headache.
After thinking it over, he decides to dump them right back at the Ji family's massive villa gates to clearly show his stance.
Talk about showing absolute resolve. He immediately dials his adoptive father, Chen Xiaohua, first.
Then he quickly grabs a cab straight to the Ji family villa, drops the suitcases right by the front door, and leaves.
When he finally gets back to his real home, both his adoptive parents are there. The dining table is packed with a massive feast, and it is clear they have not touched a single bite. They were waiting just for him. The moment he steps inside,
Chen Xiaohua welcomes him with a warm smile, saying he came back way too late yesterday.
So they closed their restaurant early at 2 p.m. today just to throw him this proper, massive welcome feast.
Go ahead and eat. Your mom cooked all of this especially for you. So Ping-an washes his hands and sits down.
Shen Xiaohua even pulls out a cold bottle of beer from under the table.
Welcome home, Ping-an. Let's have a quick drink tonight. Leah Ching smiles and playfully glares while piling food onto Ping-an's plate.
Chen Xiaohua raises his glass, saying earnestly that they do not need to say anything else.
No matter what Ping-an went through in the past, he is still their child. They welcome him home, hoping he can finally forget the dark past.
Fresh start. Liu Qing raises her glass.
her eyes are red as she tells Ping-an that this is his real home. Forever. His heart hurts. He nods heavily, throws his head back, and downs his beer in one gulp. By Sunday, he is wearing brand new clothes, heading to a nearby lottery shop. Clean and sharp, he stands outside. Staring at the messy lines drawn on the wall by obsessed gamblers, he remembers everything. The late May lottery drawing will show an impossible consecutive number sequence never seen before. A straight number sequence like this is impossible for a machine to randomly generate. Nobody could ever guess it, yet someone still wins the grand prize this time. To keep a low profile, Ping-an pulls out 10 yuan to buy 5 tickets.
He tells the shop owner to use numbers from 8 to 14, drawing weird looks.
Without saying a word, the owner prints the ticket and hands it over. The owner goes back to calculating numbers, and Ping-an quickly heads back home. The draw is tomorrow, but he already knows this specific ticket will not win. That is because the winning numbers he actually needs are for next Saturday night. He knows exactly what he is doing. This is a calculated move. You cannot explain regression to people, so he keeps his parents in the dark. Think of it as a test run for his rebirth. If he actually wins, he will tell them then. Meanwhile, on Sunday night, Ji Qingyan gets ready for bed. Right after changing into her nightgown, she hears a knock and throws on a coat. Her sister Ji Jinglei is standing at the door in pajamas, looking deeply troubled.
She wants to talk. Surprised, Ji Qingyan steps aside to let her in.
They sit down on the sofa together. Why is she up so late? What is going on? Ji Jinglei hesitates for a moment before finally speaking. She saw Ping-an yesterday to return his things, but something else happened. Ping-an said something the night he left that has been bugging her. Highly uncomfortable. Ji Qingyan frowns.
Even though her sister has not detailed it yet, she senses trouble.
This is definitely not a minor issue, so she asks what Ping-an said. Ji Jinglei admits she did not pay attention to it at the time. It was his parting words to their mother. He was definitely hinting at something. He gave her a warning, reminding her that Boda is only an adopted son. Only an adopted son, nothing more. This sends Ji Qingyan into deep thought. Her face pales as she asks if they treated Ping-an badly. They never appreciated anything he did, always finding reasons to be disappointed. He literally gave up the family inheritance, and now guilt is setting in. She remembers how she used to scold him, even if she was not as cruel as their third sister. But she still said terrible things. Thinking back to him leaving with just a backpack, watching him walk away like that makes her chest ache with regret. Ji Jinglei has not even been able to focus on work lately. She is completely obsessed with this. She keeps driving herself crazy, wondering what Ping-an actually meant by his parting words.
I mean, she knows her family is totally blind. Except for her fourth sister, they all lose their minds over Ji Boda.
Who could have even guessed something like this, she mutters to herself. Does 18 years of living together really blind a family to common sense? It is actually wild. Overhearing this, Ji Qingyan gets curious and immediately asks her sister what is going on. She wants to know exactly what Ping An meant by his cryptic words that night.
Ji Jingli just sighs and shakes her head, looking completely lost. She says she tried asking him the next day, but he shut her down completely.
He claimed he was just reminding their mother that Ji Boda is only an adopted son. But that makes zero sense. Everyone already knows Ji Boda is adopted, so why bring it up? There was absolutely no reason to point it out unless there was some dark, hidden meaning. Especially since Ping An heavily emphasized the words, only your adopted son. It definitely feels like a warning, but she just can't connect the dots yet. Honestly, Ji Jinglei is too terrified to dig deeper, but she has a few theories. Theory 1 is pretty simple. Ji Boda is just an outsider.
He has zero blood ties to the Ji family. But the second theory, that is where things get crazy.
What if Ji Boda is only their mother's adopted son, but not their father's? Or thirdly, what if he isn't their parents' kid, but actually belongs to the main branch? If he is from the powerful capital Ji family, that would still make him a relative. So yeah, theory 1 is old news. Everyone knows he's adopted. But theory 2 is where things get really deep. If he isn't their dad's adopted son,
There is only one logical explanation. He is actually their dad's biological child. Talk about a plot twist.
meaning their dad has been keeping a whole second family for 20 years. As for the third theory, she has no way to investigate. Their dad moved to Yun City years ago, purely to help the capital Ji family expand their massive influence here. There is no denying their dad is a genius businessman for pulling that off. But right now, this is all just wild speculation. She has zero proof. She is too scared to bring it up alone, so she needs an ally to help her confirm her suspicions.
She looks at Ji Qingyan sitting next to her, hoping for some backup.
Hearing this insane breakdown, Ji Qingyan immediately goes quiet, processing the whole thing. She asks if this is the real reason Jinglei came to find her today. She agrees that Ping An's words definitely carry a double meaning about Ji Boda. They both remember that their dad was the one who brought Ji Boda home years ago. Back then, their mom was so devastated over losing Ping An that she was barely conscious. So if Ji Boda is only their mother's adopted son, but not their father's, then he might actually be their dad's real son? Is that what she is getting at? Ji Qingyan stares at her sister, waiting for a nod. Jinglei just looks down, terrified. She whispers that Ping An's sudden departure proves he has completely given up on them. He has completely washed his hands of this toxic family, and honestly, can we even blame him? Her eyes turn red as she sniffs, desperately trying not to break down right there. Fighting back the urge to cry, she looks up. Meanwhile, Ji Qingyan is struck by a memory. She remembers the harsh warning Gu Baibai gave her during their last conversation. He had asked her if she ever once cared about her actual brother's feelings. Now, she hesitantly suggests going to ask Ping An directly tomorrow to get the truth. The second sister, Ji Jinglei, nodded, admitting that Ping An probably hated their guts right now. She suggests calling him tomorrow around noon, once his classes end at 12. We can ring him right after lunch since I have 0 meetings tomorrow afternoon. I will clear my morning schedule and give you a call right after. Are we going to see him together, or should I go by myself? Honestly, the oldest sister, Ji Qingyan, did not expect Jinglei to tag along. But the second sister nodded without a single shred of hesitation. Talk about a plot twist. Jinglei insisted on going because she was absolutely dying to know the truth. Did Ping An actually know their secrets, and how on earth did he find out? Plus, she wanted to apologize for how incredibly harsh she was to him before. Whether he forgives her or not, she still owes him a massive apology. Jinglei's expression turned unreadable, leaving Qingyan wondering if she was actually sincere. But since she insisted on coming along, there was no harm in it. They agreed to go together, and by Monday afternoon, it was go time. Ping An got another call from Qingyan. She simply asked if he was at school. Her voice was completely flat, making it impossible to read her emotions. He hesitated for a brief second, then chose to say absolutely nothing. But he did not hang up, prompting Qingyan to let out a quiet sigh. She then asked if he could please take the afternoon off from school.
Ping An scoffed. Did they not literally agree to stay out of each other's lives?
Qin Yan clarified that it was not just her. The second sister was coming too.
Ping An snapped back. Do not use the word sister. You guys do not deserve it.
He had no such sisters, but Qin Yan chose not to argue over the semantics.
She told him to just take the afternoon off. They would meet at 1:45.
Checking his watch, he realized it was already almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Annoyed, he demanded to know what was so urgent that required a face-to-face talk. Couldn't they just say it over the phone? Qin Yan went completely silent for a beat.
She replied that it was not convenient to discuss over the phone, so they were leaving.
They would arrive between 1:30 and 1:45, but Pingan remained silent. He hung up and headed straight back to class. Meanwhile, back at the Ji house,
Qin Yan stared at her blank screen, feeling a strange shiver down her spine.
honestly, she did not expect Pingan to actually agree to this meeting. Since he did not decline, the second sister, Jingli, pulled out a bank card. She proudly mentioned that it had 100,000 yuan on it. Qin Yan shook her head, recalling what she told her best friend about Pingan. Handing him money might just deepen the rift, but Jingli brushed it off. She argued that if he refuses the money, she will simply take it back.
Since he returned to his poor adoptive family, he probably desperately needs the cash.
Qin Yan stared at her before noting that she was never as extreme as their third sister.
But honestly, they treated Ping An like absolute garbage. Ji Jinglei sighs, lifting her coffee cup.
She looks out the window, realizing that if Ping An hadn't dropped that subtle hint, she'd still be clueless. She never would have connected the dots, and honestly, it totally makes sense.
For years, Ping An was walking on eggshells.
He just wanted his family's approval. I won't even judge how the rest of you acted.
But Ji Junli admits she was way too harsh. No matter how you slice it, he is family.
He is their actual blood brother, same mother.
Hearing this, the eldest sister, Ji Qingyan, gets totally triggered and snaps at her sister.
She tells her to stop overthinking, arguing that Boda has been a perfect angel for years. Is she seriously doubting their precious adoptive brother now? Ji Jinglei just stares back at her.
She asks her sister what Boda did wrong. Fine, maybe he didn't make any obvious mistakes.
But what did Ping An ever do to deserve their hatred? Every time Boda opened his mouth, they blindly believed him. They just took his word as gospel every single time.
Even Ji Qingyan realized Ping An's final words could be interpreted in two completely different ways.
Did she seriously never consider the darkest possibility? As a writer and screenwriter, she knows how people plot. He has written countless characters, and if he puts himself in Ping An's shoes, there's no way he could have endured 4 years of relentless mental torture like Ping An did. Honestly, any normal person would have completely flipped the table within a single week. Stunned by this reality check, Ji Qingyan completely shuts down. She just sighs and shakes her head, saying it's time to go meet Ping An. They need to arrive at his school right as he gets out. She grabs her bag and exits.
Ji Jinglei silently follows her out.
Soon it's 1:40 in the afternoon. Our boy Ping An finally walks out of the school gates. Right on cue, he spots Ji Qingyan's luxury Maserati parked just down the street. He walks over, taps the window, and it rolls down to reveal his oldest sister's cold face. He gets into the back seat without a word while the two sisters sit silently in the front. They head to a quiet Western restaurant. After ordering, Ji Jinglei puts her phone aside. Cue the absolute most awkward, suffocating silence you can imagine. Pure tension. Ping An breaks the ice first, telling them he took leave so they should just spit it out. Ji Qingyan gets straight to the point, demanding to know what he actually knows about their precious Boda. What did his final warning to their mother actually mean? Why did he drop that cryptic threat right before walking out of their lives? Desperate for the truth, Ji Qingyan doesn't even let him breathe before dropping her biggest suspicion.
She admits his second sister caught on to the hidden meaning, and they're dying to hear the truth.
She asks him straight up if he was trying to reveal that Boda is their father's illegitimate child. Ping An is temporarily stunned. He glances over and sees Ji Jinglei staring at him, practically begging for answers. The college entrance exams are right around the corner, and Boda's top-tier grades are a proven fact. Even though Ping An couldn't care less, destroying that golden boy's mental state right before the big test? Honestly, that would make his entire year. We love a petty king. Besides, he always planned on dropping this bomb. He just hadn't decided on the perfect delivery method yet.
But since they literally delivered themselves right to him, might as well give them exactly what they want. It's time to let Boda and his father, Ji Junhong, burn under the massive wrath of the powerful Zhao family. Ping An lets out a cold, mocking laugh, looking at his sisters with pure mischief in his eyes. He reveals Boda's real mother is Qin Bailian, living over at Century Garden, Area 2, Building 13.
Yes, Boda is their half-brother, and while their mother and sisters were treating Boda like a saint,
spoiling their own dad's secret bastard son like a bunch of absolute fools.
Treating him like absolute gold. Am I making sense yet?
Hua Lo and Ji Qingyan gaped in absolute shock, while Ji Jinglei covered her mouth.
But then he immediately fired back. How did you find out? Why didn't you say so sooner? Ji Qingyan asked if there is proof. Honestly, it is not that he does not believe it. You have names. Ji Jinglei knows this Qin Bailian woman must exist, but whether the rumors are true?
She will obviously investigate. Honestly, though, she really does not want to.
Believing Boda is her illegitimate half-brother is just too painful. What if Boda knew all along? That would be terrifying. Suddenly, the eldest sister blurts out a demanding question. This sets Ping An off. Why does she get to ask him for proof? When she cursed and accused him of stealing, did she ask for evidence? When Boda lied and framed him? Exactly. Silence. How he knows is none of their business, and he definitely does not owe the eldest sister anything.
Does he need to show her proof? Whether she believes him or not is her problem.
Honestly, it does not affect him one bit, so why should he hand over evidence?
She can just assume he is making it up. Ji Jinglei quickly steps in to calm him down.
Don't be mad, she says. It was just a casual question.
Qin Yan's face turns bright red with embarrassment, but Ping An is not stopping.
Casual? Who the hell does she think she is? A judge? A cop? Even with proof, why should he share? He only warned them because he thought they had actual brains. Otherwise, he would have just sat back to watch the circus. They spent 18 years raising an illegitimate son like a little prince. And now they want to hand him the family business. Hilarious. Imagine the headlines, getting completely wrecked by an 18-year-old. A high school kid. This makes Qingyan's face drop completely. Watch your mouth. She is still your mother. We are your sisters. We share the same blood. Ping An literally scoffs at this. Amnesia is a crazy thing. He cut ties with them last week, all of them. That mother and Boda are theirs. He has nothing to do with them. So stop trying to force it. Does she honestly think their toxic behavior is sisterly? You are no sister, and she is no mother. Blood means nothing. He threw him away. Done. Got it? Jinglei stares at this stranger in absolute silence. A sudden wave of regret hits her like a truck. His anger doesn't even make her mad. She just feels incredibly guilty. Ping An, she whispers, grabbing his hand. I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said those awful things without knowing the truth. I was a terrible sister. Please come home with us. I promise to make it up to you. Hearing this, Ping An is surprised, but Qingyan is completely losing her mind. Sure, Qingyan wants him back, but only to force an apology. He needs to beg their parents and Boda for forgiveness. Because in her eyes, kicking Boda's groin and hospitalizing him was wrong. Ping An doesn't care. He cold shoulders Jinglei, ripping his hand away.
He is doing great alone. They are officially strangers.
Didn't you guys always think I was just after the Ji family fortune? Now that I've cut ties, everything about your family has absolutely nothing to do with me. He stands up, telling them he can feed himself and doesn't need their pity. The answers they came to verify have already been given. But this info isn't free. Pay up. Hearing this, Ji Qingyan gets insanely triggered for no real reason. She complains that he claims he isn't greedy, yet all he cares about is cash. She demands to know the price, while Ji Jinglei quickly jumps up. She begs Ping An not to get mad. She excuses her sister, but Ping An scoffed. That is your sister, not mine. They are completely done. From now on, they are nothing but strangers, and whatever she does is none of his business. This leak isn't free, but their miserable future will bring him some real joy. He decides to cut them a massive deal anyway. 100,000 yuan is his price, a steal compared to what a competitor would pay.
Easily 200 to 300,000. Ping An mockingly asks the second sister if she even has his WeChat contact. Ji Jinglei holds back her fuming sister while he offers to write it down. She scrambles with her phone, desperately searching. Ping An just watches her struggle. Of course she deleted him long ago. He tosses his card on the table. Just snap a photo and transfer it, leaving her drowning in pure regret. She quickly pulls out a card with exactly 100,000 on it. No physical card. He wants a direct transfer, so they leave him alone forever.
She takes the photo, but our boy is completely done with their drama.
He grabs his card and walks out. Without a single glance back, he leaves Ji Qingyan absolutely furious. While she glares at the table, Ji Jinglei runs after him. She runs after him. Desperately begging him to listen, she forces Ping An to stop and face her.
Talking as fast as she can, she admits she treated him horribly from day one. Taking full blame for her actions, she begs for his forgiveness. Seeing his growing annoyance, she quickly clarifies she isn't begging him to return.
Without even expecting him to forgive them all, she just wants to apologize. Tears well up.
Regretting how she always took Ji Boda's side, she hates that she ignored him. Please, she begs him, just forgive me this once. Ping An patiently waits for her to finish before addressing her as Second Miss Ji.
He reminds her that after cutting ties, they are completely dead to him. The past is in the past, and there is no changing that. Going back is impossible. Though he's already forgotten about it, her tears finally spill over. She cries about how guilty she feels, but he instantly shuts her down. Talk about a satisfying shutdown. Her guilt is her own problem, and she needs to leave him out of it. It is better if we just act like complete strangers from now on. Ji Xinglei just stands there, frozen, silently crying as he watches him leave. He is full of regret and hates himself. Why did he treat his real brother like trash and spoil that fake imposter? Meanwhile, Ji Qingyan doesn't even move, completely ignoring Ji Jinglei's breakdown. He wonders if our boy said all that on purpose.
Maybe he set up a fake witness, but he quickly rejects that idea.
Sure, the kid is smart, but he definitely doesn't have that kind of cash. Once he starts pulling this thread, his mind goes completely out of control. If their father has been lying about Ji Boda's true identity this whole time, doesn't that mean their dad was cheating 20 years ago? There's no way he can accept this. If their mother finds out, she'll completely lose it. That kid exposed this massive secret right after leaving the Ji family. Does he want to tear the family apart? Honestly, that's pretty savage of him. All this just because they ignored him a little over the last 4 years? If word gets out, the Ji family name is utterly ruined. But if what he said is actually true, what happens to them now? He is totally lost with no clue what to do.
Saturday rolls around quickly. He grabbed 5 different sets of numbers, buying 5 copies of each right after school.
To be honest, he isn't even sure how much cash he'll actually take home. But it should be at least 30 million, easily 20 million after taxes. For his grand plans in the future, that's way more than enough. Talk about a massive bag. The lottery is a tool for dreamers, but for our boy, it's the ultimate cheat code. Still, he isn't entirely sure if his regression changed the winning numbers. When the moment comes, his heart is pounding like crazy. This lottery draw is the only way for him to confirm that the future hasn't changed. When the night of the draw arrives, he skips the TV. He just sits quietly in his room, waiting for the results at 8. Watching the live stream on his phone, his heart hammers as the last ball drops. It's 14! At this point, he absolutely cannot contain his excitement.
He lets out a quiet cheer, completely hyped.
He rolls around on his bed for a solid minute before finally calming down.
He slips the winning ticket into his phone case, already planning his next moves.
First on the list, buying a brand new house for Chen Xiaohua and his wife. A massive home, plus another one just for Hui Hui. He will even buy that little shop they've been renting for 20 years. With a massive grin he can't wipe off his face, he spreads out his weekend exam papers. Meanwhile, Ji Qingyan and Ji Jinglei have been talking. After talking things over all week, they make a shocking discovery. Once they finally step outside of their family bubble and look at things like total outsiders, they quickly realize that a lot of things are actually pretty off. Ji Boda's supposedly sweet and obedient attitude toward their mother? actually feels incredibly forced, even if he tried hard to hide it. Even so, you can still tell that without her warning, everyone would still think their brother is some perfect, flawless genius. He acts so sweet to their parents, but has the oldest sister even done anything yet? Jinglei sits cross-legged in a massive chair in her room. Qingyan lets out a heavy sigh.
This is their third time talking this week, and she still cannot make a move.
She is terrified that the truth will completely crush their mom if it is real. And she is scared their family will fall apart. Jinglei just watches her silently. Watching her brilliant older sister, Jinglei remembers when she joined the family corporation.
She became CEO after just 1 year, the absolute dream girl of the city.
Yet no man has ever been good enough for her.
Honestly, the drama here is insane. How is she so paralyzed by family matters?
Boda's adult ceremony is coming up fast. Does she really want to wait? Jinglei is getting restless because she knows how these wealthy families operate.
They usually announce the next heir at this exact milestone.
If they reveal this massive scandal after that, the damage is already done. There will be no going back, and Qingyan knows it. The timing of a bombshell like this is crucial. A delayed truth will only cause catastrophic damage.
She claims she is just torn, which makes Jinglei lose her patience.
Dragging this out only hurts the family more. Facts are facts.
They cannot hide it forever, and the longer they wait,
the more it will destroy their mom. If she keeps hesitating, Jinglei will handle it herself because she will not let him keep lying. There is no way she is letting an outsider steal their empire. Qingyan shakes her head, arguing he is still family blood, even as an illegitimate son.
She says he is not an outsider, but Jinglei just scoffs.
If that were true, she would honestly prefer if he were completely adopted. At least then, he would have no blood relation at all. But have they considered he might bring his real mother into this house? Then what happens to their mom and sisters? Are they just stepping stones? She demands a final answer. If Qingyan will not act, she is calling the paparazzi. Finding the truth is worth paying for the entire investigation herself. Qingyan pinches her nose, admitting she already reached out to some people. They're just waiting for her signal to start digging.
She begs her sister not to make a mess. Jinglei gets furious.
Making a mess? No, she is correcting a massive mistake. She does not care when her sister starts. She is calling her own contacts. Grabbing her phone off the desk, she scrolls through her contacts. Qingyan rushes over and snatches the phone away, begging her to stop. She asks for more time because the fallout will be too heavy. Jinglei's voice goes ice cold. Talk about a spineless older sister. This is wild. She is deeply disappointed, saying Qingyan is worse than Pingan. Even Pingan knew how to cut losses, unlike this CEO running a multi-billion-dollar empire. Who behaves so completely helpless when life actually matters?
I completely misjudged you, sis, and I am telling you straight up.
Whether you actually investigate this matter or not, I am doing it myself. What a total waste of my precious time. He stands up and snatches his phone back.
Even if the Ji family falls apart, I can earn my own living without handouts.
Stop using cheap excuses to brush me off and start thinking about yourself instead. Once the Ji family goes under, what will you even do? Marry off to manage another family's business? You better think hard about it because I am going to bed.
Go back to your room. Ji Qingyan opens his mouth but ultimately says nothing.
He leaves Ji Jinglei's room feeling completely defeated, while she pulls open her desk drawer. She pulls a family photo from the very bottom, where our main character stands at the far edge. His eyes hold a mix of excitement and loneliness, while Ji Boda calmly commands the center spotlight, naturally soaking up all the attention. By Tuesday, our boy takes a day off to claim his prize. He buys a cheap pair of sunglasses on the street, throws on a hat, and wears a mask. He rejects all interviews and donation requests, quietly taking home nearly $24 million in cash. After taking a long cab ride around the city to shake any tails, he heads back to school. At this point, the only thing left is the college entrance exam, so he spends every second grinding practice tests. Honestly, since he is a regression main character, he literally remembers almost every single exam question from this year. All he has to do now is wait for the results to drop. And it won't look suspicious at all because his grades were already pretty decent to begin with.
Building this image of a hardworking student will easily shut down anyone who dares to doubt his scores. No room for questions. Meanwhile, time flies by incredibly fast. He keeps his head down, studying like crazy and heading straight home every single day. His guardians, Chen Xiaohua and Liu Qing, are also feeling the pressure as June rolls around. Every day, right after the lunch rush, they close up their restaurant and head home early. They focus entirely on cooking him healthy, nutritious dinners, though our boy keeps his gratitude silent for now. Because he knows the best way to repay their kindness is by bringing home a perfect score. Talk about a wholesome dynamic. On June 7th, inside the foreign language school, 3 strict proctors pace up and down the exam room, keeping a watchful eye on everyone. Our main character is laser-focused, completing the test early but patiently waiting without turning it in ahead of time. He waits until the final bell rings, blending in perfectly with the rest of the class. He submits his paper right on time and exits. Once the 2-day ordeal is finally over, he already knows his exact score because the questions are identical to his past life. He is absolutely certain that his new score is going to blow his previous life's record completely out of the water. A perfect score might be pushing it, but out of a total of 750 points, he is confident he can easily secure over 720 points. Talk about built different. At this point, the only real question left is deciding which elite university he wants to join and what major to pick. On the morning of the 10th, he wakes up early to help at the restaurant wrapping wontons. He helps make the buns, and by 10 a.m., the morning rush is completely over. Taking a breather, he sits down and starts scrolling through his phone. He wants to see how much drama is still brewing over that lottery win. The internet is literally blowing up. But most of the comments are full of straight-up skepticism, though they are not actually targeting the winner. Instead, everyone is losing their minds over the actual numbers, especially since 3 different people hit the jackpot. Half the internet is calling cap, while the other half trusts the official reports, but those winning numbers are just way too wild. Honestly, this is the first time in lottery history that something like this 7 consecutive numbers has actually happened. It is the kind of miracle that should only exist in theory. Our guy stares at his phone with a massive grin, realizing his chance has finally come. He decides right then to buy property before next September. In his past life, this was when 2 massive subway lines finally started construction. So he plans to grab 2 houses and several apartments right along those future transit lines. That way, his parents can finally close their restaurant. They can just chill and collect rent while maintaining a pretty comfortable lifestyle. No waiting around. He tells his parents he is heading out. The diner is dead anyway, so his mom, Liu Qing, instantly tells him to go. Go on, she says. Go out and have some fun. Why come here anyway? Your dad and I can handle this. His dad, Chen Xiaohua, nods along, urging him to hang out with classmates for a while. Once college starts, he will make new friends anyway, so our boy leaves the diner. He pulls up his map and heads straight for the nearest agency. Meanwhile, over 2 weeks pass, and the only useful lead Ji Jinglei actually uncovers is that his dad, Ji Junhong, went to Haidong twice. That is it. Meanwhile, Ji Boda has been living a wild, trashy life since his exams ended. He is just taking advantage of young students. But that evidence alone proves nothing. It is completely useless. Even if his father, Ji Junhong, has secret wealth, that kind of thing is basically a minor detail in their world. Wealthy families hide money all the time. And as for Jua, even if he forced himself on some innocent girl, a mess like that, it would not affect the Fang family. They would not care anyway. Since the Fang family remains totally unaffected, he is still desperately waiting for updates. He is so disappointed in his eldest sister doing nothing that he pays out of pocket. He hires people to tail them for proof that Ji Boda and his dad were together. They were spotted at Century Garden. You already spelled out their whole secret relationship. But without any rock-solid proof, all of this is completely useless anyway.
His biggest rage isn't even aimed at Ji Boda, but at his father, Ji Junhong.
Nearly 20 years of lies, keeping the entire family completely in the dark. Seriously, what kind of man can act like this for over 20 years? Just playing the role of a loving, happily married husband right in front of him? It is literally mind-blowing. He actually thought his parents were bitter enemies. Or maybe something happened 20 years ago that drove his dad to this Qin Bai Lian woman. But everything needs proof. Fast forward 1 week later.
Our boy follows a real estate agent across all 5 northern river districts.
In the end, he chooses small, pre-owned apartments perfect for young couples and singles.
11 apartments in total, all of them cozy. They range from 80 to over 120 square meters, costing 21 million euros. And get this, he registers everything under Chen Shuhui's name, leaving nothing for himself. Checking his bank balance, he realizes money really vanishes in the blink of an eye. His prep work before leaving his toxic family? Basically complete. He's had those property deeds for a week now. Tomorrow, the college entrance exam scores drop, but he doesn't just grab the deeds and throw them on the table to brag about being the lottery winner. No, he's waiting for the exam results to drop before revealing this bombshell. First, he wants to bring honor to his adoptive parents and then hand his wealth to Hui Hui. Only then can they truly stop worrying about Hui Hui. She won't have to stress about money for the rest of her life. With these properties backing up their only daughter, they won't have to work so hard anymore. By now, it is almost 7 p.m. on the afternoon of the 21st, and his new computer, tablet, and phone are already laid out on his bed. According to the official notice, scores will be released after 8 p.m. tonight. As lookup time approaches, Liu Qing asks him a bit cautiously,
Asking Pingan if he has checked his score yet, while Chen Xiaohua stays silent.
Instead, Chen Shuhui turns from the dining table and says he hasn't checked it yet.
She explains her brother wanted to wait for them to check together, which instantly makes Chen Xiaohua thrilled.
He happily agrees that they should check together, confident Pingan did amazing. Liu Qing speaks while washing her hands, quickly joining them on the couch right after. She urges Pingan to look it up, absolutely sure he crushed the exam. Seeing his adoptive parents so incredibly anxious, Pingan just smiles and tells him to relax. He says he already has a general idea of his performance, then goes to his room. He grabs his exam permit and places it on the coffee table, drawing everyone close. 3 pairs of eyes stare intensely at his screen as he opens the app and finds the portal. He types in his permit number, but what pops up isn't actually a score. Instead, a notification flashes saying his rank has placed him in the province's top 50. The screen tells him to check back on the 27th for the full details. At this point, he knows he's completely set, but looking up, he sees 3 totally lost faces. He hands the phone over to Liu Qing, casually announcing he made the top 50. Liu Qing stares at the screen for a moment, then passes it to Chen Xiaohua.
She asks Pingan what it means and why there are no actual scores.
Chen Xiaohua looks at it and sets it down, but Chen Shuhui immediately snatches the phone up. Pingan just laughs and explains that top 50 scores are never released right away. Hearing this, Chen Xiaohua grabs Liu Qing's hand with a massive grin. He yells that top 30 means he easily scored over 700 points. Pingan chuckled and told them he wasn't sure yet, but they would find out soon enough.
Liu Qing's eyes immediately well up with tears, but Chen Xiaohua pats her hand, comforting her.
He says there is no rush now, while Liu Qing still weeps tears of joy. She praises Pingan for being such a good son, while Chen Shuhui hugs her. Shuhui brags that her brother is top 30 and maybe even the top provincial scorer. Since this is such a major win, she asks her mom why she's crying.
Liu Qing holds her close, reminding her how much suffering her brother endured over the last 4 years.
Hearing this, Pingan quickly cuts in, telling his mother not to bring up the past. He credits his high score entirely to the amazing study habits they built for him. He tells them it's all their doing, prompting Chen Xiaohua to let out a long breath.
Standing up, the father declares it a glorious day and that Pingan is bound for elite universities. He says it is his happiest day ever, and honestly, seeing him finally appreciated by a real family hits so hard.
They were completely blind, so he invites Pingan to have a celebratory drink. He asks his wife to fry some peanuts and prepare some nice side dishes. He wants to drink to his heart's content tonight. Meanwhile, Ji Boda is also checking his own exam scores, surrounded by his family. Back when he estimated his exam scores, he expected around 640 points. So when the screen displays 653, he finally breathes a sigh of relief.
He hands the phone to Zhao Wei and asks how many points brother Pingan got.
He is being super careful, keeping his voice totally neutral when saying this. Zhao Wei is beaming at first, but her smile instantly freezes when she hears that. She turns directly to Qing Yan. Why don't you call Pingan and ask how he did on his exams? Why bother asking him, Ji Junhong snaps, his face completely darkening with annoyance.
What do his scores have to do with us, anyway? Ji Qingyan silently grabs his phone.
But Ji Jinglei stops his hand. She smiles, asking if Boda will study abroad now. Since he did so well, is he going abroad or staying in the country?
Ji Zhidie chimes in with a grin, saying Boda is definitely going abroad.
But your big sister is going to miss you so much.
That is years away.
And as for Ji Pingan, even if his grades are good, what of it? Just think about it, sister.
Dad will not pay for his tuition, and his adoptive parents only run a small diner.
Do you think they can afford studying abroad? No shot. It is totally impossible.
Those poor folks will never make enough money to fund his education over there.
Besides, they have their own biological daughter to take care of.
No way they spend it on him. Honestly, if Pingan gets into a top-tier college, he is just incredibly lucky.
He might only make a decent local school. Ji Qingyan looks up at Boda. What are your thoughts, Boda? Meanwhile, Zhao Wei slowly puts down her phone.
She looks at Ji Junhong, suggesting maybe Boda should just stay in the country.
Hearing this, Ji Junhong chuckles, saying he might as well tag along too. Boda's study abroad plans are completely set, but that massive donation to his new school is still up in the air. Looking at Ji Boda with pure pride, he asks him which university he actually wants to attend. Boda plays the victim, lowering his eyes and saying he hates the thought of leaving his mother. Typical drama queen behavior. Going overseas all alone is terrifying, so staying in the country seems way better. He claims he wants to study in Shanghai instead of going to the capital. Hearing this, Zhao Wei lights up instantly, agreeing they should definitely skip the capital.
Shanghai is close to home, and his uncle is already living there.
With family around to pamper him, his life there is basically going to be a breeze.
Ji Boda stays quiet, only looking up to see how his father will react to this. Sensing his hesitation, Zhao Wei chimes in, insisting Boda should go to Shanghai if he likes it.
She even offers to tag along, but Ji Junhong shakes his head, shutting the idea down.
He wants the boy to study abroad, grind for a few years, and then return home. The goal is for him to learn company management from his older sister and inherit the entire family empire. Since he is destined to inherit everything, Boda suddenly acts like a saint and asks what will happen to Pingan, which is so fake. Are we really just going to abandon him? He hangs his head in mock sadness. The sister, Ji Zhidie, immediately sneers, telling Boda he is being foolish since Pingan chose to leave on his own. Such a toxic family. They did not force him out of the family, so this whole mess is entirely his own fault. She says to stop worrying about him and let him rot in the slums where he belongs. Meanwhile, Ji Jinglei shuts his mouth, refusing to speak another word after that question. He just stares intently, keeping his eyes glued to Boda and their father. Ever since Ji Boda said those words, Jinglei had been quietly observing him. In the past, he might have joined his third sister, Ji Zhidie, in mocking. They always looked down on quiet Pingan, but now he realized Zhidie. She is actually the brainless one here, while Boda acts completely calculated. It sounded like Boda felt bad, but look closer. He was subtly manipulating their dad and sister to cut Pingan off entirely. But why does Zhidie show such intense hatred toward her own brother? Zero hesitation. He seriously cannot understand her logic. Why does their mother, Zhao Wei, seem slightly hesitant to let him go? Yet she acts completely indifferent. Has she been brainwashed lately? More brainwashing? Jinglei stayed totally silent. He sat quietly on the sofa as Qingyan slapped Zhidie on the shoulder. She scolded her, saying, Pingan is still your actual biological brother. If you do not like him, fine, but stop putting him down. Then she asked their dad to check on Pingan's grades in a few days. We can let Boda know later, though it is not a big deal. If Boda wants to go abroad, he must choose a good university. But if he goes to Shanghai, Boda must major in finance. Shanghai's finance scene is elite. Nothing in the country even compares. Classic favoritism. Jinglei just stared at his eldest sister. Boda just sat there, looking like he was deep in thought. Just as Jinglei was about to speak, Boda announced his decision. He wants to go abroad to build his independent living skills. He claimed he had been spoiled so much at home lately. Boda turned his gaze to Zhao Wei and spoke very softly. If you really cannot bear to let me go, come with me. No surprise there, Zhao Wei hesitated, completely unsure.
Let us decide after the coming-of-age banquet. It is too early right now.
She has always been incredibly indecisive, never able to make choices.
Their father, Ji Junhong, cleared his throat and finalized the decision.
Qingyan stood up and walked away. Meeting over.
Jinglei immediately stood up as well, saying he was leaving too.
Meanwhile, Zhidie grabbed her bag and asked Boda to hang out.
Back in the bedroom, Jinglei lit a cigarette with a tense face.
He asked point blank, was Boda doing this on purpose?
Qingyan sighed, telling him he was just looking at Boda with bias.
What if Boda was truly just curious and wanted to ask?
Just normal sibling rivalry, she claims. Seriously, her blind trust is crazy. Jinglei was totally done listening. He cut to the chase. Did you find anything?
Qingyan shook her head, saying nothing major. But one thing is certain. Dad is definitely seeing Qin Bailian, visiting her 3 times this month. Jinglei muttered that it is still not enough to prove Boda's connection.
He revealed he canceled the private investigator for a better plan.
Qingyan looked up. She had the exact same idea.
All they need to do is grab a hair sample from Qin Bailian for a DNA test. But she's not actually worried about the test result itself. She's terrified of the aftermath. How is their mom supposed to accept this? What if she literally breaks down?
Ji Jinglei just lets out a bitter laugh, asking what else they can even do.
Ji Qingyan stays silent for a moment before offering to take care of it herself.
Then she asks if he doesn't trust her, wondering if he thinks she'd fake the results for the family.
Pausing, she stares straight into Ji Jinglei's eyes, admitting that honestly, she hopes the truth is a lie. She desperately wants the test to show that this is all just a huge mistake. She hopes Ji Boda has absolutely no blood relation to their dad so this family doesn't fall apart. That way, their mom won't have to face the heartbreaking truth and everyone can stay happy together. Even if Ping An never comes back, at least the rest of them would still be fine. Honestly, if we're being completely brutal, she thinks sacrificing Ping An is actually worth it. Just to save the family's stability and protect the Ji family name in public.
She feels it's totally worth it since none of them actually liked him anyway.
She asks if they really need to destroy their entire home over him.
Is that the only way he'll finally be satisfied? She demands to know when Jinglei became like this.
She reminds him that he and their third sister used to be the ones bullying Ping An the most. While she ignored Ping An, she rarely said those cruel, toxic things to him. She points out that he was literally the first one to tell Ping An to get lost. Her savage reality check completely breaks Jinglei, and honestly, seeing his regret hits different. He stares down at his trembling hands, tears starting to drop onto his arms. He realizes she's right. He was the one constantly throwing verbal abuse at him, even dragging his sister into it. He was the one who instigated the bullying against Ping An, and it's all his fault. His biggest mistake was telling him to get out and constantly poisoning their parents' minds. He shouldn't have badmouthed him or egged on Zhidie to break his heart. Looking up with a tear-stained face, he begs his sister for forgiveness. He urges her to stop hesitating and finally tell their mom everything. They need to tell her, especially if Ji Boda actually turns out to be their dad's real son. Mom deserves to know the truth, but his sister tells him to shut up.
Ji Qingyan cuts him off, reminding him that their mom's health is incredibly fragile.
She asks if he even cares about whether their mom can survive a massive shock like this. If anything happens to her, I'll literally die of guilt, Jinglei chokes out. But he argues they can't just keep her in the dark forever. If their dad actually gives the entire inheritance to Ji Boda, what happens to them? What about all the sacrifices his sister made? What about their younger sisters? The fourth sister is still in school and should be fine, but the third sister is a wild card. Well, their third sister is known for taking things to the extreme, Ji Qingyan sighs. She rubs her temples, telling him to stop crying. It's just giving her a headache, and she needs time to think. Jinglei wipes away his tears, declaring that no matter what she decides to do, he absolutely refuses to let that illegitimate kid stay in this house any longer. Ji Boda is the one who needs to get kicked out, but Ji Qingyan just waves him off. She tells him to go back to his room, promising she'll handle it soon.
She'll grab the hair for the DNA test herself, but Jinglei just storms off.
Ji Qingyan tells him, I don't trust you, I'll find my own way to handle this. She warns him not to hide anything from Mom, because once the results are out, she'll confess everything. Ripping the Band-Aid off is way better than dragging it out.
Ping An just smiles. He promises he'll handle it, leaving Ji Qingyan staring in disbelief. She groans. You are seriously going to be the death of me. Fine, do what you want.
Meanwhile, over in the living room, Chen Xiaohua's family is gathered around the dinner table. Eating a KFC bucket, Ping An hands the last 3 chicken drumsticks to his godparents.
And Shuhui before heading back to his bedroom. He walks out holding a massive stack of red booklets. Wait, property deeds?
On top of them are brand new unopened tablets and phones with a laptop bag slung over his shoulder.
Seeing the family staring at him in complete shock, Ping An just walks over with a smile. He drops everything onto the couch and says, "Dad, Mom, Shuhi, these are all for you!" Xiaohua and Liu Qing look at the stack of deeds, their hands shaking as they open the first one.
Chen Xiaohua silently grabs another booklet, completely stunned.
Shuhui immediately snatches up the new phone, screaming in pure excitement.
Is this really for me, brother? Ping An smiles and gently pats her head.
It's all for you. 11 apartments in total. The laptop, tablet, and phone are yours too. By now, Chen Xiaohua has only had 2 drinks. So his mind is totally sharp, and the name on those property deeds is crystal clear. The owner is Chen Shuhi. He gasps, "Ping An, where did you get this money?" "Yeah, Ping An, where did you get the cash to buy all these apartments?"
Liu Qing chimes in, her hands still moving without stopping.
Flipping through each book one by one, Shuhui asks, "Brother, did you win the lottery?" Shuhui asks while unboxing her phone, and Ping An just grins and nods. He explains, "In last month's lottery, I actually hit 5 grand prizes."
5 third-place prizes. Shuhui squeals. "Brother, you are literally rich!"
Liu Qing slowly sets down the last deed, her eyes turning red as she looks up.
"Ping An," she asks, "why isn't your name on any of these?" Beside her, Chen Xiaohua is utterly speechless. He hasn't even fully processed the shock yet. Hearing this, Chen Shuhi slowly chimes in, saying, "Wait, let me see whose name my brother wrote." She randomly flips one open. Instantly, she lets out a loud shriek. "Brother! Why is my name on this?" She quickly grabs another booklet. And then the next. Chen Xiaohua's lips tremble as he asks, "Ping An, why did you do this? The money is yours." "Wouldn't it be better to keep it for yourself?" Ping An just smiles warmly at his adoptive parents. Meanwhile, Ping An has put several old rundown apartments under Hui Hui's name, hoping to help her out. He has already contacted agents to rent them out so they can start bringing in cash. This rental income will act as their main support, meaning his adoptive parents can finally renovate their little restaurant. He tells them to just serve lunch and dinner, urging them to stop waking up at 2 in the morning to grind. Honestly, if they just listen to him, they can become wealthy landlords and live off rent. Winning the lottery was a complete surprise, but the house is already fully bought. So do not stress out, because I can easily make money myself.
He promises to buy them an even better home later, leaving his adoptive father, Chen Xiaohua, deeply moved.
Still, Xiaohua worries, asking why Ping An is giving everything away without keeping a single thing for himself. Ping An just gives a calm smile, assuring his adoptive parents that he has already thought everything through. Since they only have Hui Hui as a daughter, they now have him too. No matter what, Hui Hui will get married someday, so these houses are her premarital assets. That way, they stay safe in her name as a solid financial cushion for her future. She will never have to struggle. Hearing this, Hui Hui instantly interrupts him. She complains that she is far too young for this.
He pinches her cheek, saying she is his little sister.
Giving her these things is only natural, and that computer is hers too. He turns to Uncle Chen and says the houses are already bought. They are already under her name, and he is definitely not taking them back. Plus, he still has over 2 million cash. That is more than enough for college. Plus, he can always make more. His exam scores are going to be top tier anyway, so life is set. They really do not need to worry, since he will live in the dorms. Eating at the campus cafeteria means they will not have to worry at all. Instead, they should just sit back, collect rent, and enjoy their lives. They can run their little restaurant whenever they want, or just close it. After all, they are set for life. Aunt Lu wipes her tears, refusing completely. She insists they cannot take his properties, and Uncle Chen nods in agreement. He tells Ping An that he is still a kid, so they cannot rely on him.
The parents are still healthy enough to work and pay for college.
Even if the kids want to pursue a doctorate, they can afford it. The MC just smiles and reassures them that life is only getting better. Honestly, he even wants to buy Uncle Chan a brand new car.
He was worried they might not like the model, but Uncle Chen refuses. He tells Ping An to stop spending because earning money is incredibly tough. It disappears in the blink of an eye, so he needs to save. Ping An just nods and laughs, agreeing with his foster father. He admits he barely touched his food because he wanted to share this.
He really just wanted to take this chance to let them know the truth.
Not only is he a genius student, but his luck is actually insane. Plus, if his parents had not taken him in, he never would have won. Aunt Liu nods in agreement, and Uncle Chen sighs, telling everyone to eat. He asks his wife to pack up the property documents that night. Both parents lie awake in bed, hearts heavy.
Aunt Lu whispers they cannot keep the houses. Uncle Chen just agrees.
Transferring them back would cost a massive fortune. And the MC would never sign those papers.
Uncle Chen decides to wait until college starts in Beijing. They will travel with him, even if they have to beg, just to make sure Ping An gets some extra support. Hearing this, Aunt Liu freezes. She hesitates. Back when times were tough, they never begged.
Is it really right to do it now?
Honestly, they do not even know what he needs. Uncle Chen sighs.
But he is his father. Pride does not matter.
Meanwhile, back in his room, our MC sits down to plan.
Right after, our boy Ping An gets a text from his second sister Ji Junhong asking for his exam score. He takes one look at the screen and just tosses the phone aside with zero intention of replying. Even though his second sister was the first to show him some warmth, the past is the past. He is not about to let those dark, toxic years ruin his brand new life. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, it is June 27th. The exam scores are finally going live, and his adoptive parents, Chen Xiaohua and Lu Qing, do not even open their shop today. With their daughter Shui off at school, the remaining three sit together on the couch. Waiting for the clock to strike, Liu Qing asks him if he has a dream school in mind. She cannot help but worry, but Ping An just looks at his parents and smiles. I already made up my mind. It is Capital University, majoring in finance. We can figure out the rest later, and honestly, I will probably buy a place in the capital soon. That way, when you both come to visit me, you will not have to stay in some hotel. Chen Xiaohua blinks in surprise, telling him that is not necessary since he already owns a house in the capital. He just hasn't reclaimed it yet. Ping An is stunned. Wait, his dad has a house in the capital? Aside from the last 4 years, he has never even seen his father visit the city. Liu Qing hesitates, asking if he is sure about revealing this, but Xiaohua shakes his head, saying they should focus on the score first. Let's see your actual score first, he says, and Ping An immediately looks down to refresh the page. Boom! The screen loads, revealing a massive 732. He turns the phone to show his parents. He calmly tells them that this score should easily land him in the provincial top 3. No doubt about it, last year's top scorer only got 727, and he beat that by 5 points. Though he admits this year's questions might have been slightly easier than last year. So someone out there might stay beat him, but Xiaohua and Lu Qing are already losing their minds. The top scorer of the entire province is absolutely insane. But then Liu Qing's expression suddenly turns worried. She asks if the wealthy Ji family will try to drag him back once his incredible score goes public. Ping An quickly comforts her, telling her not to worry because he is not going anywhere. He tells her they might share blood, but the parents who raised him are the ones who actually matter. He remembers exactly how cruel his biological family was and promises he will never leave this home. He will still head off to college, of course, but now that his score is officially out, things are about to get wild. People are going to start calling and showing up at their door, so he asks his parents what they want to do. Chen Xiaohua just smiles and shakes his head, saying it is his college journey and they will not interfere. We will not say a single word, and if the calls get too annoying, we can just shut our phones off. He pulls out his phone and powers it down right then, and Liu Qing instantly follows suit. Ping An just laughs and stands up.
I already decided on Capital University finance anyway, so I am not even looking at any other options.
If they do manage to track me down, I will just tell them straight up. Meanwhile, over at the Ji mansion, the second sister, Ji Jinglei, has been up to something sneaky.
After secretly collecting Ji Junhong's hair from the bedroom, she managed to snag Ji Boda's hair too.
To guarantee absolute accuracy, she prepared 3 separate sets of DNA samples. She sent them to 3 different labs for testing, and although the official results are not back yet, she is in for a shock. She just saw on the news that this year's top science scorer in the province is named Ji Pingan. It is not just the name. That face on the screen is unmistakable. There is absolutely no way she could ever forget it. By dinner time, she is on high alert. She heads downstairs early to wait in the living room, and soon her father walks in alongside Ji Boda. Their mother is still completely in the dark, but seeing her father and younger brother enter the house together, a dark, unsettling thought crosses her mind. Could they have been off meeting with that schemer Chin Bai Lian? Ji Boda looks absolutely miserable, but after heading upstairs to change, he quickly walks back down. Everything seems normal, except the eldest sister, Ji Qinyan, is missing. She might be at a business dinner, leaving only the parents at home tonight. Along with Ji Jinglei, Ji Zhidie, and Ji Boda. Rich family rules. No talking is allowed during meals. The GI family usually follows this too. But they are not super strict. Mom talks the most anyway. She is constantly pampering Ji Boda, piling food on his plate.
She asks all about his school life while Ji Jinglei prepares to speak up.
He wants to mention the news about Ji Pingan, but Ji Boda cuts in. Ji Boda suddenly drops the bomb that Ji Pingan got the top score. Zhao Wei's hand freezes midair. She slowly drops the food into Ji Boda's bowl. Really? She asks, while Ji Jinglei looks on completely speechless. His weak-minded mother starts tearing up again. The drama with her is so exhausting. Ji Jinglei is totally rolling his eyes. Then she looks at her husband, Ji Junhong. Should we call Ji Pingan to come home and celebrate? Ji Junhong stays completely silent. His face looks incredibly dark. Ji Zhidie snorts and asks why they should even bother. She reminds her mom that he cut ties. Basically, he threw them away. Why beg him to come back? Besides, Ji Boda did amazing on his exams, too. Even without going abroad, a 985 university is basically guaranteed. Just let that unfilial brat rot outside on his own. Having him back is just an eyesore. Ji Boda picks up the serving chopsticks. He places food in his mother's bowl and tells his sister not to be harsh. He says Ji Pingan is struggling out there all alone with no one caring. He suggests bringing him back now that the college entrance exams are finally over. Ji Boda offers to move out so Ji Pingan won't have to see him. That way, he might actually stay. Zhao Wei immediately slaps his shoulder, telling him to stop. Where would you even go? If you move, I am coming with you. Ji Junhong frowns and tells Ji Boda to shut up, banning any mention of that unfilial son. If he is so capable, let him survive on his own. Honestly, this dad is unbelievably toxic. Does he seriously think high scores translate to actual wealth, even if he was number 1? It still cannot compare to the massive inheritance waiting for Ji Boda. Ji Zhidie eagerly agrees. True wealth takes generations of power to build. Does he really think his solo effort can challenge a literal dynasty? Talk about delusional. Ji Boda, you really do not need to stress over this. For someone like Ji Pingan, studying is his only ticket to a decent life. But you were literally born at the finish line. How can he even compete with you? Stop saying things beneath your status and just listen to Dad. Zhao Wei nods in agreement, saying that despite her own high education, she has never had to work a single day since marrying into this family. That is the power of generational wealth. Regular people cannot even begin to comprehend it. So just focus on your dinner and stop worrying. If Ji Pingan wants to stay away, let him. I could never let you move. That would literally break my heart. Later, Ji Jinglei heads straight back to his room. He dials Ji Qingyan, who is currently having dinner with her business partner, Gu Baibai. Seeing his name on her screen, she immediately picks up the call. She asks why he is calling at this hour, and he quietly answers, eldest sister. Do you know who scored top in the province this year? Qingyan blanked out, having no clue. It is Pingan. The top scorer in the entire province is literally Pingan. Qingyan put down her steak knife, picked up her red wine, and took a slow sip. What are you trying to say? Jinglei asked. She reminded her that Boda always claimed Pingan only got average grades in school. Yet none of them ever wondered how Boda even knew about Pingan's grades. How did Boda know Ping An allegedly ran with local thugs? And nobody in the family ever bothered to check. But now that Ping An is the province champion, don't you think something is seriously fishy here? Honestly, the funniest part was tonight's dinner when Boda acted up. Boa was the one who voluntarily told Mom about Ping An becoming the top scorer. Yet not a single soul questioned why they all thought Ping An was a hopeless failure. Can a bad student actually become the top scorer? King Yan snapped back.
Save it. I already understand everything.
Whatever happened is in the past. You and Zhidie just kept screaming at home instead of bringing me the actual report. Nothing you say matters now, so stop annoying me. I am dining with Lawyer Gu right now, so we will talk tomorrow night.
Jing Lei asked if she was coming home tonight.
Nope, not coming back, Qing Yan replied while staring at Gua Bai.
She threw him a big flirtatious wink, repeating they would talk tomorrow.
Jinglei hung up the phone and grabbed the photo. Staring silently at the torn family photograph, she felt a chill. 4 days pass, and she is handed the official paternity test report.
Jinglei is in complete despair as she holds the final report.
The previous 2 tests already confirmed the worst, but she still had hope.
Staring at the shocking conclusion, her vision goes completely dark.
Her words of thanks sound completely hollow as she drags herself to her car.
Sitting in her car, she cries, wondering why this is happening.
Why? What should I do now? The famous screenwriter of the wealthy Ji family sobbed alone inside her sports car.
The document confirmed their biological bond, making this painful truth impossible to deny.
She did not dare imagine what would happen if she showed these reports to Mom. The consequences would be too horrific. Even worse, what if the media found out about how Ping An was treated? She deeply regretted the stubborn anger she had displayed in front of her eldest sister.
It all felt like a massive joke when viewed from her sister's perspective.
She suddenly hesitated to speak out. Despite usually being calm, she actually felt a wave of resentment toward Ping An. Why did he reveal this truth just to watch their family fall apart? Did he plan this entire tragedy when he decided to cut ties with them? Did he predict this outcome before she ended up crying in her car for hours? Once her crying finally stopped, she wiped her tears and fixed her makeup. Ping An's number flashed on her screen, but she simply lacked the courage to dial. After hesitating, Jinglei finally decided to call her eldest sister Qing Yan instead. Ji Qing Yan hangs up the phone and slowly packs up her things. She cleans off her massive desk, and about half an hour later, the drama really begins. Ji Zhidie parks her car and walks straight into the Kempinski Hotel lobby. Up in room 608, Ji Jinglei already has the DNA test laid out on the bed. Honestly, aside from her red, puffy eyes, she looks mostly fine. The coffee table has an ashtray and an open bottle of red wine ready to go. Ji Qing Yan is sitting right across from her, quietly sipping her glass, and both of them are just drowning in pure silence. When Ji Zhidie finally knocks on the door, it is Ji Jinglei who lets her in. She immediately complains. Big sister, second sister, why do we have to meet at a hotel?
Can we not just talk at home? She asks, tossing her bag onto the couch.
She plops down right next to Ji Qing Yan, but Ji Jinglei does not say a word. She just turns and heads into the bedroom, while Ji Qing Yan pours Zhidie a glass of wine, telling her to wait. Just look at this first, she says, as Zhao Jinglei walks back out. She holds out 3 different paternity test reports and hands them straight over to Ji Zhidie. Zhidie looks at them in total confusion, glancing from her oldest sister to her completely expressionless second sister. What paper is this? She asks, taking a quick look at the pages. And then she completely freezes. A paternity test, she gasps. Whose is this? The 3 tests are from 3 entirely different hospitals, but every single one of them has the exact same conclusion.
The 2 samples are a direct match, and even though Zhidie does not know whose DNA this is yet, she remembers that before Ji Pingan was brought back to the family,
he had to take a DNA test too, and that is exactly why she hated him. She always looked at Ji Pingan as nothing but a massive stain on their family name. No matter what our MC did, she never showed him an ounce of affection. Honestly, she never gave him a decent look or treated him like human. She never had a nice word for him, and now Ji Qing Yan just picks up her glass. She downs the wine, sets the glass down, and drops a bomb. It is Dad and Boda. Boda was never actually adopted. He is their biological half-brother, which is an absolute wild twist. Ji Zhidie freezes, complete shock. Her hand holding the paper freezes completely in midair, and she gasps that this is impossible.
Big sister, you must have made a mistake, she stammers. There is no way Boda shares blood with Dad.
Absolutely impossible, she screams.
She yells that Boda was literally brought home from an orphanage by their own parents.
Ji Jinglei counters that she got the DNA samples directly from Dad's bedroom and Boda's room.
To make absolutely sure the results were correct, she split the samples into 3 parts. She had 3 different labs run the test simultaneously, and the cold hard truth is right there.
Ji Jinglei exhales a slow puff of smoke and takes a tense sip of her wine.
She walks over to the window, looks out at the city, and whispers that she deeply regrets doing this. Qi Qingyan lets out a heavy sigh, saying the real issue they face now is how to get their mom to accept this reality, but something else is bothering her.
Zhidie is not crying or screaming at all, which is weird because this third sister has always had the absolute worst temper in the entire family. She asks Zhidie why she's acting so calm. But Zhidie just sneers and says she does not believe a word of it, demanding to know their real goal. These might look official, but still. How do you prove this DNA actually belongs to Dad and Boda? Tell me, how much money did Ji Pingan pay you?
To make you two team up and fabricate this lie? Where would he even get that kind of cash?
Basically, Ji Zhidie is still in denial, arguing that even if the report is Boda's, so what?
Qi Qingyan just shakes her head in total disbelief, speechless.
It means your favorite little brother Boda is actually your real biological half-brother. And what about Mom? Her precious, spoiled golden boy is a lie. He is actually the product of Dad's affair. Ji Qinglei sighs, telling Ji Zhidie she knows. Since you two are closest, this proves Boda is Dad's secret love child. It means Dad has been playing Mom and us 4 sisters this whole time. Talk about a toxic father. I just do not have the hard proof yet, Ji Qinglei says, glancing at their oldest sister. Oldest sister nods. So Ji Qinglei drops another bomb. Boda and their lost sister Pingan were born a month apart. How Pingan went missing? We'll deal with that mystery later.
But it proves that while Mom was pregnant, Dad was out there messing around with another woman.
Then Pingan disappeared. Boom! Dad suddenly brings Boda right back home.
Claiming he adopted him from an orphanage, but faking those adoption papers is insanely easy.
And Mom has no clue. But think about this. What if? What if Boda already knows his true identity? Think about it. Eventually, us 4 sisters will marry and leave. Leaving Mom completely alone in this house? Suddenly, Ji Zhidie's face goes pale. She grabs her glass of wine, chugs it, and slams it down. Save it, she mutters, because I can already guess the terrible consequences of this.
But she still refuses to believe the DNA report. Ji Qingyan suddenly lets out a soft laugh.
Does ignoring it change reality? Let me give you a perfect chance. Go grab his hair sample yourself, and then you can personally take it to the hospital for another test.